Hello everyone, welcome back to PJ Meet the Pros. Today's program, I invited Hsiang-Ting Yen. She's the jewelry designer working for the craft business for 7 years. Today she's going to share a lot of business tip and trick, how she is handling her business, and a lot of good advice for the new people who want to come to the jewelry business. There's something you have to know before you get into it. Let's get started. All right, Hsiang-Ting, really nice to see you here. Thank you first for your contribution to this section.
My name is Hsiang-Ting Yen. I was born and raised in Taiwan, and then I came to the United States in 2008 to pursue my graduate degree in metals and jewelry. So after graduation in 2012, I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I started my own business, HTY Jewelry, pretty much just right after graduation. So I'm a studio jeweler, full-time studio jeweler, and I've been in business for almost 7 years. Yes, so when I started out, I was mainly focused on participating craft shows. So, so I travel a lot, I would just hop on my car and then just pack everything, and I'll drive all the way, from Chicago all the way down to Naples, Florida. And I started to getting more attention from people asking me about custom jewelry. I'm pretty much doing almost 50% of my revenue is from my custom jewelry business, and then another 50% is from creating my own collection, and I'm selling in craft shows or wholesale to galleries and boutiques.
Can you tell us how many trade shows per year that you used to go?
So it used to be probably once a month, pretty much, and then there'll be a couple more during the holiday season, the Christmas time. So during the Christmas can be 2 per month.
Just out of curiosity, do you remember your first show and how was it?
Yes. So I was so spoiled. So my first show was Philadelphia Museum Art Craft Show, and I got it in as it's an emerging artist. So they had a little bit lower booth fee for emerging artists. The Philadelphia Museum of Art Craft Show is such a prestigious show. It's really hard to get in, and it was really good sales, lots of customer visitors. So that was definitely quite experience to start out with one of the most prestigious craft show in the United States. So that was back in 2012. Remember, I took a limited class with you. It was
right.
a collaboration between limited and the students, and I really enjoy creating all that designs and making prototype everything. But I realized the style, the design I made, even though no matter how much they like my design, but they all told me the same things, your design is way too one of a kind. It's not possible for them to mass produce it. And so even though they liked it, they cannot really take it for the practical reason. So I kind of just have a realization. I was I guess I have to be my own boss after I graduated. At the time, I was selected as one of the student ambassador to sell my jewelry at the Philadelphia Museum of Art Craft Show. And so we all get to experience the student to market. We have to create a whole body of work and to sell directly to the customer. And that was such a wonderful experience, because before that I always kind of self-doubt. I would always just think why people want to pay that much money to buy a handmade jewelry, or to buy such one-of-kind looking jewelry. Who's gonna wear that? But apparently I was able to find the audience there. So with those two experience combined, I feel okay, I need to be my own boss, start my own business after graduation.
I like the way that you take it really positive. Okay, now at least I know I'm not go for mass production, and I'm gonna go for the limited production, or am going for like a one of a kind. So I love the attitude, and I think a lot of young students will love to hear that. Is because the positive attitude is actually one of the key success for a lot of the business. So really love to hear that from your experience.
And I still learn so much. I learn how to do CAD from you, and I learn how to do the more industrial sketching. So it was still benefit to now to my own business. So I thought it was overall it's a great experience. All the basic metalsmithing techniques, enameling, and CAD for model creating, and also casting, wax carving, pretty much all of it. For example, time management, because when I was in school, we always have deadline almost every week, and I learned that you have to stick to your schedule. You have to meet your deadline, and that's really helpful. When I'm running my business, just because I have to do shows, I have to make custom orders, I have to fill wholesale orders, online orders. That's all different kinds of deadline. If you look at my calendar, it's kind of crazy, but I have to be able to multitasking and be able to meet every single deadline.
Just out of curiosity, do you use CAD for your jewelry collection?
Yes, so sometimes I do use CAD for my custom jewelry. If the ring, for example, has to be very symmetrical design, it's just a lot easier and then time saving for me to use CAD instead of hand carved wax. And for my own HTY jewelry collection, it's all hand fabricated from scratch. For this ring set here, it's an engagement ring and wedding ring. And this one, it's very decorative, very dramatic looking, because my client, she is a game designer. So these earrings here, this is my part of my HTY jewelry collection, Reveal series. Okay, so normally people found me from Google search or word of mouth, referral. And when they reach out to me, we'll set up kind of an initial consult, and then we kind of have about 45 minutes to an hour discussion. So we kind of go through what's their expectation, what's their budget, and what's their concept for the jewelry they want me to create. We go through everything, and I will send them a contract, just for the initial design. So if the customer wants to work with me, I normally will start out with I call it initial design fee. And I started doing that just because when I started out doing custom design, I didn't charge the initial design fee. But what happened is that there will be some people, they make me work through hours, jump through the hoops, and then finally I show them design and they just walked away, and I end up losing all that time and energy. If people are not willing to pay that design fee, that means they're not serious.
I think that's a very good advice, because when I starting early for my freelance job, just get out of the school, I'll do whatever I can do, and people does take advantage of that. They will ask you to draw a lot of a drawing and work out for somebody can make it cheaper, and that is really unfortunately, we do have those kind of people around the world. So I think that's a very good advice for the new people want to come into the business.
And then after that, I will show them the design just through emails, and then they can pick. Normally I'll tell them you can pick 2 to 3 ones that you like, and I will do a refined sketch, and then it will still be hand sketch, but it will be a lot more detail, and then the portion, the colors, everything will be a lot more accurate. Once they select their final design, I will be able to generate the quote for them. I will ask them to send 50% down payment, and then non-refundable. So everything is all written on the contract. In the end, the customer agreed to pay the remaining balance by the time we're meeting for the in-person delivery, or before I'm shipping the jewelry out, they have to make the full paint. It takes about between like 6 to 10 weeks. Just depends on how complicated the design is, and also how what's our communication like. Vary, because a lot of times when people come to you to make jewelry, that means they are not jewelry designer, right? So that means they probably don't have any like sketching ideas and all that. So it's so important to communicate with your customer with like your design has to be as close as to the final product. Otherwise, it's just impossible for them to visualize the final the finished piece. So yeah, so the sketch skill, it is very important to have a good hand sketch skill. A lot of research. There's a lot of Facebook page. It's like such as like Art Fair Review or Art Girls. There's always craft show artists. They will share their review and experience on the Facebook page. It's kind of like a closed group page, so you have to like send a request to join it. And also, a lot of time you can also just visit the craft show website to see what's their previous year's artists list. So if you can, you can kind of get a sense of like, okay, the quality of the work they select. If they don't even bother to have like a professional made website, you kind of get a sense that all right, this is not probably worth your time and money to go through all that trouble. Normally I'll make sure my whole table display it looks full. It doesn't look like it's missing, like there's empty spots or all that. And I always make sure I make extra pieces for the like best sellers, because they always sell, so you always want to have more than just one. So yeah, normally I will bring about like 150 to 200 pieces with me to the show. Like finding new inspiration, it's hard. I normally kind of do it in like the beginning of the year, just because it's right after Christmas, and so normally January is kind of like a slower time, no matter to show or to custom business. So I normally use that month to like develop new collection, and then summer is also a good time, like between like August, just because it's so hot, there's not much of show going on, and people are on vacation. So summertime is also kind of like a good time for me to, spending hours just to research, experimenting my studio and developing new pieces for the holiday season. Yes, so I'm a metals and jewelry instructor at Cary Art Center in Cary, North Carolina, which is only like 20 minutes drive from Raleigh. And I teach both I teach like general public, from age 8, 9 years old to 70 plus, and I offer all kinds of different, like from the basic beginning jewelry to more advanced classes. It's kind of a nice way for me to like step out of my studio and then be like talking to other adults, instead of just to my dogs and cats and my husband. But it's kind of like a nice break between my home studio life and like exposed to other human beings. I don't feel so like isolated.
Right.
So I've been teaching there almost, since 2013, so it's almost 6 years. So when I started out in 2012, I had another part-time job working in the jewelry store as a salesperson. So I worked there for like 3 years, and then once my business started to grow, and then I'm getting busier and getting more business from making my own jewelry, and I kind of come to that crossroad, come to that point, I have to, which one? Like, because I cannot just have both. So I made that decision. It's like, all right, I'm going to quit, and I'll be okay. Even though it was definitely terrifying, because all of a sudden you lose that source of income, that every 2 weeks paycheck. But it turned out, I ended up making double the next year after I quit a job. So I know it's like, all right, that was a great decision. And then I finally had my life back, because when I was doing both, I basically worked every day, because when I'm not working in the studio, I'm working in the jewelry store weekends, holidays, Christmas Eve. For beginners, I will recommend that start out with the shows that's in your city, in your neighborhood, or in the state. Just because I kind of did the opposite way when I started out. I was like very ambitious. I mean, I didn't know there was small craft shows. I didn't realize there was, I guess I didn't do enough homework. So I was aiming a lot higher. I was, applying for all the big show, like American Craft Council show, Philly show and all that. And I end up like piled up tons of debt because I didn't have money to pay for my booth fees. So I just put on my credit cards. And that was really hard to be like, like the first 3 years just trying to pay off my debt. And I realized, it's actually a lot easier and then lower overhead if I just started out with the show that's in my surrounding, within that 1 hour drive range. And there were plenty of great shows there, and I didn't know. So, and then so I wish like I was doing the opposite way when I started out. But, it is what it is. I also, I learned from my mistake. If it's like a one-day show, like a local one-day show, normally the booth fee can be from $80 to like $120 maybe. And then for like a 2-day outdoor shows, the booth fee is around $300 to $600. Just depends on how famous they are, how like prestigious they are. And then for the indoor show, the price can go from like $600 up to $2,000. It really depends. And that's for the retail show. And then for the wholesale show, it can be even more expensive because you spend more days in there. So like the one I did in the American Handcraft did in Philadelphia, and they charge like close to $2,500 for like 4 days wholesale show. But
So-
I've heard even more expensive ones like New York now they charge $10,000.
Wow.
So I haven't done those just because right now it's just me making it worse. I don't think I can handle that many orders because there will be like department store placing order. So I don't think I'm that level yet. So I even haven't tried those shows. So those are the shows I have done before and based on my experience.
So for the show, they just give you like outdoor show for example, they just give you a tent, right? Do they give you like table?
No, not even a tent. They just literally give you a 10 by 10 space, and then you have to bring everything else, including tent, tables, tablecloths, displays, and everything.
Wow. Okay.
And and then for indoor shows can be depends. Sometimes they will be just same thing. They will just give you a 10 by 10 space, and then you have to bring, the pipe and drapes, the lights, the carpet, and then everything else. But some shows, they do provide pipe and drape, the carpet, even trash can, and like power cord. So it just depends on what kind of amenities they provide. Each show is all different. Yes, I would like to talk about like customer relationship. Since I'm one person business, so that means when customer they reach out to my business means I'm the one reading an email. So sometimes it's not always pretty, the nice, the fancy. Sometimes you will get some complaint emails or things needs to be repaired or unhappy customer. And just make sure don't take it personal. Like try to be as professional as you could. And when you reply those email, make sure you're not putting your personal emotion to the email, to the tone. Just stick to the professional way. And normally you can always you can always find a way to provide a solution. So just don't make it feel like it's gonna ruin your day or losing your faith in your passion and joy. Don't let those people take you down. But yeah.
Right. I think that's a very good experience. I have a lot of good feedback on my YouTube, for example, but I do have some I don't understand one. It's like, why'd you hate me? So, well, when that things happen, it's really hard, to not emotionally get attached, but being professional to looking at the thing in the professional perspective, I think that does help not ruin your day, and that's quite important.
And you don't need to reply that email like right a second. Take a break, walk away from it, sleep on it, and you can always reply later. So you can be a lot calmer, and then you can think in this person's shoes, and just don't do it right away. If you feel like it's getting into your mind, just don't do it right away.
Okay, great. I think that's a very great tip for whoever want to have a business. Thank you very much for talking with us today. I think you have a lot of good input, and I think my subscriber will truly appreciate your input. So we'll get in touch. Maybe we'll come back years later to hear more about your business.
Perfect.
Thank you.
For this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.